Jake Morrison wiped the sweat from his face and looked at the small screen on his wrist. The delivery ship was late, 3 hours late. He had been waiting for this package for 6 months, ever since he saved enough money to buy a robot helper. Living alone on a mining station in space was hard work. Jake spent his days fixing broken machines and collecting rocks from asteroids. The rocks contained valuable metals that people on Earth needed. But Jake was tired of talking to himself and eating cold food from cans. The mining station was small. It had 1 bedroom, 1 kitchen, 1 bathroom, and a large work area filled with tools and broken equipment. Jake had painted the walls white 3 years ago when he first arrived, but now they looked gray from all the dust and grease. He pressed his face against the small window and looked out into space. Stars filled the darkness like tiny lights. Somewhere out there, a delivery ship was bringing him a robot that would help with cooking and cleaning. The robot would also talk to him, which Jake needed more than he wanted to admit. A loud beeping sound came from his computer. Jake ran to the screen and saw a red warning message. A ship was coming toward his station very fast. Too fast. Jake grabbed his emergency suit and put it on quickly. Through the window, he saw a small ship spinning out of control. Smoke poured from its engines. The ship crashed into the landing area outside his station with a loud bang that shook the walls. Jake put on his helmet and walked outside. The crashed ship was much smaller than he expected. It looked like a delivery pod, the kind used for sending packages across space. But something was wrong. The pod was made of metal he had never seen before. It was silver, but seemed to change colors when the light hit it. He walked around the pod, looking for a way to open it. There were no buttons or handles. Jake touched the smooth surface with his gloved hand. The metal felt warm, even through his thick gloves. That was strange. Space was very cold, and the pod should have been frozen. Suddenly, a line appeared on the pod's surface. The line grew longer and wider until it became a door. Jake stepped back in surprise. The door opened by itself, and white mist poured out like breath on a cold day. Jake looked inside the pod. Instead of a robot, he saw a young girl lying on a soft bed. She looked about 12 years old with long dark hair and pale skin. She was wearing clothes that looked alive. The fabric seemed to move and breathe like it was part of her body. The girl's eyes opened. They were green like emeralds and seemed to glow in the dim light. She sat up slowly and looked at Jake. Her mouth moved, but the words she spoke sounded like music mixed with the wind. Jake did not understand the language, but somehow it felt familiar. "Hello," Jake said, removing his helmet. "My name is Jake. Are you okay?" The girl tilted her head like a curious bird. She spoke again in the strange language, then stopped and closed her eyes. When she opened them again, she spoke in English. "Jake," she said. Her voice was soft and clear. "Where am I?" "You're on my mining station," Jake said. "But I think there's been a mistake. I ordered a robot helper, not a person." The girl looked confused. "Robot? I do not know this word." Jake helped her out of the pod. She was light, like she weighed almost nothing. When her feet touched the metal floor of his station, something strange happened. All the lights became brighter. The air felt cleaner. Even the old machines in the corner started humming with more power. "What's your name?" Jake asked. The girl thought for a moment. "I do not remember," she said. "I remember falling through darkness for a long time. I remember cold and fear. But I do not remember my name." Jake looked at her glowing green eyes, and the way the light seemed to follow her. "How about Luna? Like the moon? You seem to make everything brighter." Luna smiled for the first time. It was a sad smile, like someone remembering something happy and painful at the same time. Luna, she repeated. Yes, I like this name. Jake showed Luna around his small station. She touched everything with wonder, as if she had never seen such simple things before. When she touched his broken coffee maker, it started working again. When she ran her hand along the wall, the paint looked fresh and white again. "How are you doing that?" Jake asked. Luna looked at her hands. "I do not know. Things just, get better when I touch them. Is this normal?" Jake laughed. "No, Luna, that's not normal at all, but maybe that's okay." That night, Jake gave Luna his bed and slept on the couch. He stared at the ceiling and thought about what had happened. He had ordered a robot to help with his work and keep him company. Instead, he got a mysterious girl who could fix things by touching them. Jake had always been good at solving problems. When machines broke, he found ways to fix them. When asteroids were hard to reach, he found new paths through space. But Luna was not a problem to solve. She was something else entirely. As he finally fell asleep, Jake heard Luna talking softly to herself in that musical language. He did not understand the words, but they sounded like someone saying goodbye to old friends who lived very far away. In the morning, Jake would start asking questions. He would try to figure out where Luna came from and why she was in that strange pod. But tonight, for the first time in 3 years, Jake Morrison was not alone in space, and somehow that felt like the most important thing in the universe. Jake woke up to the sound of humming. Not the usual noise from his old machines, but actual humming. Someone was singing a tune he had never heard before, but it made him feel peaceful and happy. He found Luna in the kitchen, standing in front of the stove. She had made breakfast, real breakfast with eggs and toast and coffee that smelled better than anything Jake had tasted in years. The strange part was that Jake only had dried food packets in his kitchen. He had no fresh eggs or bread. "Luna, where did you get this food?" Jake asked. Luna pointed to the food storage unit. "I asked it to make better food." It listened. Jake opened the storage unit and gasped. The machine that usually only heated up dried food packets had somehow created fresh ingredients. The display screen showed new options Jake had never seen before. The machine was working in ways that should have been impossible. "How did you do this?" Jake asked. Luna shrugged. "I touched it and thought about good food. Then it knew what to do." After breakfast, Jake took Luna to his workshop. He wanted to test something. He pointed to an old mining drone that had been broken for months. "Can you fix that?" Luna walked over to the drone and placed both hands on its metal surface. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. The drone began to glow with a soft blue light. Old dents smoothed out. Rust disappeared. New parts seemed to grow from inside the machine. When Luna opened her eyes, the drone was floating in the air. It moved smoothly and quietly, better than when Jake first bought it. The machine's computer screen showed efficiency numbers that were twice as high as the factory settings. "This is amazing," Jake said. "You're not just fixing things, you're making them better than they ever were." Luna looked tired. "It takes energy," she said, "but I like helping." Over the next few days, Luna touched every machine on the station. The air recycler started producing air that tasted like spring flowers. The gravity generator became so smooth that Jake forgot it was artificial. Even the old radio started picking up music from planets Jake had never heard of. But Luna's abilities were not the strangest thing about her. Every night, she had dreams that made her cry out in her sleep. Jake would find her sitting up in bed, talking in that musical language, with tears on her face. "What do you dream about?" Jake asked one morning. Luna looked out the window at the stars. "I dream about suns dying," she said. "I see planets becoming cold and empty. I see people saying goodbye before they disappear forever." She walked to Jake's desk and found a piece of paper. With a pencil, she began to draw. Her hand moved quickly, creating patterns of dots and lines. When she finished, Jake saw a map of stars arranged in shapes he had never seen. "What is this?" Jake asked. "Places I remember," Luna said. "Places that used to have life." Jake took the drawing to his computer and scanned it. The computer worked for several minutes, then displayed a message that made Jake's heart beat faster. The star patterns matched real locations in space. Some were thousands of light years away. Some were in galaxies that human ships had never visited. "Luna, how do you know about these places?" Jake asked. Before Luna could answer, an alarm sounded. Someone was coming to the station. Jake looked at his screen and saw a military ship approaching. It was painted with the symbols of Earth's Colonial Defense Force. Jake told Luna to stay hidden in the bedroom. He put on his best clothes and waited by the airlock. A few minutes later, a tall man in a blue uniform came aboard. His name tag read, Commander Alex Warren. "Mr. Morrison," Commander Warren said, "we received a report about an unusual energy reading from your station. We need to investigate." Jake tried to stay calm. "Energy reading? I don't know what you mean. Everything here is normal." Commander Warren pulled out a small device that beeped and flashed. "This scanner detects technology that doesn't match human engineering. The signal is very strong. It's coming from inside your station." "Maybe your scanner is broken," Jake said. "I only have standard mining equipment here." Commander Warren walked through the station, following his scanner. The device beeped louder as he got closer to the bedroom where Luna was hiding. Jake's hands started to sweat. "Commander, I recently bought a new robot helper," Jake lied. "Maybe that's what your machine is detecting." "A robot?" Commander Warren stopped walking. "What kind of robot?" "A domestic android, for cooking and cleaning. I ordered it from the Mars Manufacturing Company." Commander Warren looked at his scanner again. "May I see this robot?" Jake's mind raced. "It's charging right now. The battery needs to cycle for several hours after the first activation. You know how these new models are." The commander nodded slowly. "Yes, I've heard about the new charging requirements. But, Mr. Morrison, this energy signature is unlike anything in our databases. It predates human technology by thousands of years." Jake felt cold. "That's impossible. How could old technology end up on my station?" "That's what I intend to find out," Commander Warren said. "I'll need to inspect your robot when it finishes charging. I'll return tomorrow." After the commander left, Jake sat down heavily. Luna came out of the bedroom, her face pale. "He knows I am here," Luna said. "His machine can feel what I am." "What are you, Luna?" Jake asked. "Please tell me the truth." Luna sat beside him. "I am not from your world, Jake. I am not from any world you know. I am old, much older than I look." She touched the wall, and suddenly the metal became transparent like glass. Outside, Jake could see space in a way he had never seen before. The stars seemed to form patterns and paths, like roads connecting distant places. "My people traveled between the stars long before humans learned to fly," Luna said. "We helped young races learn and grow. We were teachers and guardians." "Were?" Jake asked. Luna's eyes filled with tears. "Something hunted us. something that feeds on life itself. It destroyed my people one by one, planet by planet. I have been running and hiding for more years than your species has existed. Jake put his arm around Luna's small shoulders. You're safe here, he said. Luna shook her head. The commander's scanner found me. Others will come. The hunters always find me, eventually. That night, Jake could not sleep. He stood by the window and looked at the stars. Somewhere out there, things were hunting Luna. But Jake Morrison had never run away from anything in his life. He was not about to start now. He thought about Luna's drawings of dead stars and empty planets. He thought about her tears and her loneliness. Most of all, he thought about how she had made his dark station into a home. Jake made a decision. He would not let anyone take Luna away. Not the military, not alien hunters, not anyone. She was just a scared child who needed someone to protect her. And Jake Morrison might only be a simple miner, but he was stubborn enough to fight the entire universe if he had to. Jake woke up to every alarm on his station screaming at once. Red lights flashed. The computer voice kept repeating, "Unknown ships detected. Unknown ships detected." He ran to the main screen and felt his blood turn cold. 7 ships hung in space, near his station. They were like nothing Jake had ever seen. The ships looked alive, with smooth curves that seemed to breathe. Their surfaces were dark, but reflected light in strange ways, like oil on water. "Luna!" Jake called. "Luna, wake up!" Luna appeared beside him instantly, as if she had teleported. Her face was white with fear. "They found me," she whispered. "The Devourers are here." "Devourers?" Jake asked. But Luna was already moving. She ran to the workshop and started touching every machine. Jake's mining equipment began to change. His simple tools grew new parts and capabilities. The hull of his station became stronger. His communication system started receiving signals from frequencies he did not know existed. "Luna, what are you doing?" Jake asked. "Getting ready to run," Luna said. "Or to fight. I am not sure which." On the screen, Jake watched the alien ships move through the asteroid field. They were scanning each rock with beams of purple light. The beams cut through solid stone like it was water. When the light touched an asteroid, the rock simply disappeared. "What happens if they find us?" Jake asked. Luna stopped working and looked at him. "They will take everything that makes me alive and use it to make themselves stronger. Then they will do the same to you and every human they can find." Jake felt anger growing in his chest. "They hunt children?" "I am not a child, Jake. I am thousands of years old. But yes, they hunt anyone who has what they want." Luna touched the main computer. The screen filled with information Jake could barely understand. Star maps, energy readings, weapon capabilities. All of it painted one clear picture. The alien ships were incredibly powerful, and Jake's mining station was defenseless. "We need to leave," Luna said. "Now!" Jake looked at his home. He had lived here for 3 years. He had fixed every machine, painted every wall, and made this place his own. But more than that, this was where he had found Luna. This was where his real life had started. "No," Jake said. "What?" Luna stared at him. "I said no. I'm not running." Luna grabbed his arm. "Jake, you do not understand. The Devourers have destroyed entire civilizations. They have weapons that can break planets in half. We cannot fight them." Jake smiled, but it was not a happy smile. Maybe you can't fight them, but I'm human. We're too stupid to know when we can't win." He walked to his equipment locker and pulled out his mining suit. It was old and patched, but Luna had improved it when she touched his other machines. Now it looked more like battle armor than work clothes. "What are you doing?" Luna asked. "What I always do when someone tries to take something that belongs to me," Jake said. "I fight back." Luna watched him put on the suit. "Jake, I do not belong to you. I am not property." Jake stopped and looked at her. "You're right. You don't belong to me. But you chose to stay here. You chose to trust me. And I choose to protect you." He finished putting on the suit and walked to his mining ship. It was small and ugly, built for collecting rocks, not fighting wars. But when Luna had touched it, the ship had become something new. "If we're going to run, we need a head start," Jake said. "I'm going to give you one." "How?" Luna asked. Jake pointed to the largest of the alien ships. "I'm going to ram that thing with my ship and hopefully damage it enough to slow them down." Luna's eyes went wide. "That will kill you." "Maybe, but you'll have time to escape." Luna was quiet for a long moment. Then she walked over and touched Jake's mining ship. The small vessel began to glow and change. New weapons appeared on its hull. The engines became larger and more powerful. Armor plating grew over the weak spots. "If you are going to do something stupid," Luna said, "at least do it with better equipment." Jake hugged her. "Thank you." "Do not thank me yet," Luna said. I'm coming with you." "Absolutely not," Jake said. "It's too dangerous." Luna looked at him with those glowing green eyes. "Jake Morrison, you said I could choose. I choose to fight beside you." Before Jake could argue, another alarm sounded. One of the alien ships was moving toward the station. It was smaller than the others, but Jake could see weapons charging along its hull. "They're going to attack," Jake said. Luna nodded. "Devourers always destroy what they cannot take." Jake and Luna ran to his ship. As they climbed aboard, Jake felt the station shake from weapons fire. Through the window, he saw his home burning. The place where he had lived for 3 years was being torn apart by purple energy beams. "I'm sorry," Luna said softly. "Don't be," Jake said, starting the engines. "It was just a place. This is what matters." He pointed at Luna, then at himself. "Us, together." The ship launched from the dying station. Jake had never flown in combat before, but somehow his hands knew what to do. Luna sat beside him, her hands on the control panel. The ship responded to both of them, moving like it was alive. The alien ships turned toward them. Jake counted 7 vessels, each one larger than a city block. His ship was the size of a small car. The odds were impossible. "Any ideas?" Jake asked. Luna smiled for the first time since the aliens arrived. "Yes. We do what my people never learned to do." "What's that? We fight dirty?" Luna touched the ship's computer, and suddenly Jake understood the alien vessels. He could see their weaknesses, their blind spots, their most vulnerable systems. The information flowed into his mind like water. "They're used to fighting other advanced races," Luna explained. "Civilizations that follow rules and fight with honor. They do not know how to fight humans." Jake laughed and pushed the ship into a steep dive toward the nearest alien vessel. "Then let's show them what they're missing." The battle for Luna's life was about to begin, and Jake Morrison, a simple miner from Earth, was about to prove that sometimes the most dangerous opponent is the one who doesn't know he can't win. Jake's small ship danced between the alien vessels like a bee fighting elephants. The Devourer ships were huge and powerful, but they moved slowly. Jake used his knowledge of asteroid mining to fly through tight spaces and dangerous paths that the bigger ships could not follow. "Behind the third ship!" Luna shouted. "There's a weak spot in their shields!" Jake spun the ship around and fired his mining lasers at the spot Luna indicated. The beams, enhanced by Luna's touch, cut through the alien armor like a hot knife. Through butter. The Devourer ship shuddered and pulled back. "How did you know that would work?" Jake asked. "My people helped design those ships long ago," Luna said, "before the Devourers turned them into weapons of destruction." Jake felt a chill. "Your people made those things?" "We made the original designs to help civilizations travel between stars," Luna explained while Jake dodged another energy blast. "The Devourers stole our technology and corrupted it." Jake's ship shook as more weapons fired at them. His small vessel was fast, but it could not run forever. Already the engines were overheating from Luna, pushing them beyond their limits. "We need help," Jake said. "Do you have any friends out here?" Luna looked sad. "I am the last of my kind, Jake. Everyone I knew is gone." "What about other humans? The Colonial Defense Force?" Luna shook her head. "Commander Warren's people are too far away. By the time they arrive, we will be dead." Jake thought for a moment, then smiled. "Maybe Warren's people are closer than we think." He activated his emergency communicator and broadcast on all frequencies. "This is Jake Morrison at Mining Station 779. I am under attack by hostile alien forces, requesting immediate assistance." For a long moment, there was only static. Then a familiar voice crackled through the speaker. "Morrison, this is Commander Warren. We read your transmission. What is your situation?" "7 alien ships are trying to kill me and my robot," Jake said, winking at Luna. "Your robot?" Warren's voice was suspicious. "The same robot that gave off those unusual energy readings?" Jake looked at Luna. She nodded and touched the communication system. Suddenly, Warren's voice became clearer, and Jake could hear other voices in the background. "Commander," Jake said, "my robot is not what I thought it was. It's actually a survivor from an ancient alien race. The ships attacking us are called Devourers. They hunt advanced civilizations and destroy them." There was silence for several seconds. Then Warren spoke again. "Morrison, are you saying we're dealing with a first contact situation?" "Yes, sir. And the aliens trying to kill us are not the friendly kind." Another voice came through the radio. "This is Admiral Carter. We have 3 ships in your area. We'll be there in 20 minutes. Jake looked at his fuel gauge. "We don't have 20 minutes. Luna touched the ship's controls again. "Yes, we do." The ship suddenly moved faster than Jake thought possible. They were no longer just dodging the Devourer weapons. They were dancing around them, making the huge alien ships crash into each other as they tried to target Jake's vessel. "How are we doing this?" Jake asked. "I am sharing my knowledge with your ship," Luna said. "But Jake, I cannot keep this up much longer. Using this much power is killing me." Jake saw Luna's face growing pale. She was breathing hard, and her hands were shaking. "Stop it," he said. "Don't hurt yourself for me." "I am not doing this for you," Luna said softly. "I am doing this for both of us." 20 minutes felt like 20 hours, but finally Jake saw human ships appearing on his scanner. 3 vessels from the Colonial Defense Force armed with the best weapons Earth could build. "This is Admiral Carter," came the voice over the radio. "We see you, Morrison, and we see your alien friends. Luna, can you hear me?" Jake stared at the radio. How does he know your name? Luna touched the communication system one more time. Admiral Carter, I can hear you. How do you know who I am? Because 20 minutes ago you did something to our ships, Carter replied. You upgraded every system we have. Our engines are running at 200% efficiency. Our weapons are more powerful than they've ever been. Our computers are processing information faster than we thought possible. Jake looked at Luna in amazement. You helped them from here? Luna nodded weakly. I sent part of myself through the communication signal. I gave their ships what they needed to fight the Devourers. The human ships opened fire on the alien vessels. But their weapons were different now. The energy beams were brighter, more focused. They cut through Devourer shields like they were made of paper. Impossible, Luna whispered. Human weapons should not be able to harm Devourer ships. Admiral. Carter's voice came through the radio again. Luna, what you gave us wasn't just better technology. You gave us something else. Something that makes our weapons work against these aliens. What? Luna asked. Purpose, Carter said. Every human on these ships knows why we're fighting. We're not fighting to conquer or to take resources. We're fighting to protect someone who needs our help. Jake watched the battle through his window. The human ships were smaller than the Devourers, but they fought with a determination that seemed to surprise the aliens. When one human ship was damaged, the other two moved to protect it. When the aliens tried to retreat, the humans followed. My, people were always peaceful, Luna said, watching the fight. We never learned to fight with such passion. That's because you never had something worth dying for, Jake said. Luna looked at him. What do you mean? Your people were advanced, powerful. You probably never had to struggle or sacrifice, but humans, we've been fighting for everything we have since we crawled out of caves. We know how to lose everything and keep fighting anyway. One of the Devourer ships exploded in a brilliant flash of light. The others began to retreat, but the human ships followed them. Admiral, Jake called over the radio. Let them go. Why? Carter asked. Luna answered, because now they know. They know that humans are different. They will tell others of their kind. Is that good or bad? Jake asked. Luna smiled, but she looked exhausted. I do not know. But for the first time in thousands of years, the Devourers ran away from a fight. Jake's ship docked with Admiral Carter's vessel. Medical teams were waiting to help Luna, who had collapsed from using so much power. As they carried her to the medical bay, she grabbed Jake's hand. Thank you, she whispered. For what? Jake asked. For showing me what I never had before. What's that? A family that fights back. Jake squeezed her hand. You're stuck with us now, Luna. Humans don't give up on family. As the human ships headed back toward Earth, Jake realized that his quiet life as a miner was over. But he had gained something much more valuable than a robot helper. He had gained a daughter who could touch the stars, and she had gained a family that would never let anyone hurt her again. 3 weeks later, Jake stood on the observation deck of Earth's largest space station and watched the most beautiful and terrifying sight he had ever seen. 100 Devourer ships hung in space at the edge of the solar system, blocking out the stars like a dark wall. They brought their entire fleet, Admiral Carter said, standing beside Jake. Every ship they have. Jake looked down at Luna, who was sitting in a wheelchair. The medical doctors said she would recover from using so much power, but it would take time. Her green eyes were still bright, but her face was thin and pale. They are here for me, Luna said quietly. They know that as long as I live, other races might learn to fight them like humans did. Let them come, Jake said. We beat them before. Admiral Carter shook his head. Jake, we had surprise on our side last time. Now they know what we can do. They've brought ships designed to fight human tactics. Through the window, Jake could see the human fleet preparing for battle. 50 ships from Earth, 20 from the Mars colonies, and 15 from the outer settlements. It was the largest human fleet ever assembled, but it was still outnumbered by the aliens. There is another way, Luna said softly. Jake knelt beside her wheelchair. What are you thinking? Luna looked out at the enemy ships. I could reveal my full power, not just the small part I have been using, all of it, enough to destroy their entire fleet. That sounds like a good plan, Jake said. It would kill me, Luna added. Jake felt like someone had punched him in the stomach. No, we'll find another way. There is no other way, Jake. I have seen this pattern before. The Devourers will keep coming until I am dead or they are destroyed. If I sacrifice myself, humanity will be safe. Admiral Carter cleared his throat. Actually, there might be a third option. Jake and Luna both looked at him. Carter was holding a data pad with complex diagrams on the screen. Our engineers have been studying what Luna did to our ships, Carter explained. When she upgraded our systems, she didn't just improve our technology. She created a connection, a link between her power and our equipment. What kind of link? Luna asked. The kind that works both ways, Carter said. We think we can share the burden of your power across thousands of human volunteers. Instead of you using all your energy alone, you could spread it among willing humans. Jake stood up quickly. That's brilliant. Luna doesn't have to die, but Luna shook her head. It would not work. Human minds are not designed to handle Shaper power. It would kill anyone who tried. Carter smiled. That's where you're wrong. Humans have one advantage that your people never had. What? Luna asked. We're stubborn enough to survive anything. An alarm sounded throughout the station. The Devourer ships were moving forward, heading straight for Earth. Jake could see weapons charging along their hulls, weapons powerful enough to crack planets. We need to decide now, Carter said. Luna, will you trust us? Luna looked at Jake. If this fails, everyone who tries to help me will die. Jake took her hand. Luna, 3 weeks ago I was a lonely miner who talked to himself. Then you crashed into my life and everything changed. You gave me a family. Now let your family help you. Luna squeezed his hand. How many humans would volunteer for something this dangerous? Carter touched his communicator. Admiral Carter to all ships. We need volunteers for an experimental procedure that might save the human race. It's dangerous and untested. Who's willing? Jake. Expected maybe a few hundred responses. Instead, every ship in the fleet responded at once, then the space stations, then the colonies on Mars and Europa. Within 5 minutes, over 2 million humans had volunteered to share Luna's burden. Luna stared at the numbers on Carter's screen. 2 million people are willing to die for me? No, Jake said. 2 million people are willing to live for you. There's a difference. The first Devourer weapons fired, striking the outer defense platforms. Human ships moved to intercept, but their weapons barely scratched the alien hulls. The Devourers had learned from their last defeat. It's time, Carter said. Luna, are you ready? Luna closed her eyes and placed her hands on a special device the engineers had built. It looked like a crystal connected to thousands of fiber optic cables. Each cable led to a different human ship or station. "I do not know what will happen," Luna said. "Neither do we," Jake replied. "But we'll find out together." Luna activated the device. Energy flowed from her small body through the crystal and out to the human fleet. Jake felt a tingling sensation in his mind, like someone was gently touching his thoughts. Suddenly, he could sense every human connected to the network. Millions of minds linked together, all focused on one goal: protecting Luna. The human ships began to glow with the same green light that surrounded Luna. But instead of weakening her, the shared power made everyone stronger. Jake could feel the determination of a farmer on Mars, the courage of a miner on Europa, the love of a mother on Earth who wanted to protect all children everywhere. The human fleet attacked the Devourer ships with weapons that now burned with the power of human will. Each shot carried not just energy, but the combined determination of millions of people who refused to let evil win. The Devourers fought back with everything they had. Their dark ships unleashed weapons that had destroyed countless civilizations. But for every human ship they destroyed, 10 more took its place. For every human who fell, 1,000 more joined the network. Jake watched a damaged human cruiser ram itself into a Devourer battleship, sacrificing itself to save a colony transport full of families. He saw fighter pilots stay at their posts, even when their ships were burning around them. He felt the love and determination of his entire species flowing through the connection Luna had created. "They're retreating," Admiral Carter said in amazement. Jake looked out the window and saw the impossible. The Devourer ships were pulling back, their formation breaking apart. For the first time in their long history, they were running from a battle they could still win. "Why are they leaving?" Jake asked. Luna opened her eyes. She looked tired, but alive. "Because they finally understand what they are facing." "What do you mean?" Luna smiled and pointed to the retreating alien ships. "They are used to fighting civilizations that surrender when defeat is certain. They do not know how to fight a species that becomes more dangerous when cornered." The Devourer fleet jumped to hyperspace and vanished, leaving the solar system in peace. The human ships began to celebrate, but Jake only cared about one thing. "Luna, are you okay?" he asked. Luna stood up from her wheelchair. The connection with so many humans had not drained her power. Instead, it had taught her something new. She no longer had to carry the burden of being the last of her kind. She had found a new family, a new purpose. "I am better than okay," Luna said. "For the first time in thousands of years, I am home." 6 months later, Jake stood in the backyard of his new house on Earth and watched Luna teach a group of human children about the stars. She still looked 12 years old because she chose to, but she was no longer alone. The house was small but comfortable, with a workshop where Jake could tinker with machines and a garden where Luna grew flowers from seeds she remembered from worlds that no longer existed. It was not fancy, but it was theirs. Luna had become the official liaison between humanity and the network of alien civilizations that still existed in secret, hiding from the Devourers. Earth was now the center of a growing alliance of species, who had learned that sometimes the best defense was a willingness to fight for others. "Dad, look!" Luna called, running over with a drawing. She had started calling Jake Dad a month after the battle, and it still made his heart warm every time he heard it. The drawing showed their house surrounded by spaceships from a dozen different worlds, all of them coming to Earth to learn from the humans who had done the impossible. "It's beautiful," Jake said, putting his arm around Luna's shoulders. It's our future, Luna replied. A future where no one has to run and hide anymore. Jake looked up at the stars and thought about his old mining station. He had ordered a robot helper and instead received a daughter who could touch the stars. It was not what he had planned, but it was exactly what he needed. Luna had been abandoned by the stars, lost and alone in the darkness. But she had found something better than her old life. She had found a family that would never give up on her, and a species that would fight the entire universe to keep her safe. Sometimes the best. Things in life come in packages you never expected, and sometimes, when you open your heart to help one lost soul, you end up saving the galaxy.